So hands down, one of the most popular cameras in our Think Media community is the Canon M50. This camera is awesome for creating YouTube content like vlogging, tutorials, talking head videos, and also photography. And so we find that a lot of people buy this camera because it is user-friendly. So in this video, we wanted to give you 7 quick tips to get the most out of your M50 when it comes to video. So tip number 1 is pick your frame rate. It's really important to ask, what will my final product be? Do you want to slow down footage, or are you just going to shoot real-time stuff like this or even vlogging? And so what's cool about the Canon M50 is it shoots in 4K at 24 frames per second, and then the other frame rates are accessible at 1080p. So in 1080p, you can choose to shoot in 24 frames, 30 frames, or 60 frames. What's also cool about the M50 is you can shoot in 120 frames. You just have to access that through the menu and then turn on high frame rate. So 90% of the videos we usually shoot here on Think Media are shot in 30 frames per second, but because we wanted to use the 4K on the M50, which only allows you to shoot in 24 frames, we made this final project 24 frames. So in all the slowed down clips, we're actually shooting in either 60 frames or 120, slowed down to 24 frames per second. But that's just something to keep in mind when choosing your frame rate. Am I gonna slow this video down, or is this just regular vlogging? And in that case, I would suggest doing it in either 30 or 24 frames. And just to keep in mind, all the footage used in this video is upscaled to 4K from the 1080 files, just to keep in mind, but this talking head portion was shot in 4K. The second tip is to choose your autofocus method. What's so cool about this M50 is it has Canon's infamous dual pixel autofocus in 1080. And so the way you access the autofocus method you want to choose for most of your videos is you're going to hit Q on the screen. Right underneath your video setting, you're going to hit AF. And then you have the 3 options they give you, but we love shooting on the tracking system because you can simply tap whatever you want in focus and then it'll focus super easy. One thing to keep in mind is to make sure your servo AF is turned on. When you turn it off, the box around a face or a subject will be grayed out, but when it's on, it'll actually be white. So just make sure that is on, and that's pretty much the best focus settings for video. Tip number 3 is the best setting for vlogging. A lot of people buy the Canon M50 for vlogging because it has the flip-up screen and it's super easy to just tap on your face and create content. And you know, the thing about vlogging is you don't want to have to always constantly think about the settings. So here's 2 different ways that you can set it and forget it, and you can choose which one you like to go with. The first one is going into movie mode, and instead of having it on manual exposure, you want to put it on auto exposure. What's great about this is the camera will just work with the ISO, the shutter speed, and the aperture all in tandem to get you the best quality as much as possible. All right, this is a movie exposure auto. I very set it and forget it, in and out of shading, but like it adjusts the lighting, and it's moving all kinds of things. It's changing shutter, it's changing aperture, it's changing ISO, so could kind of mess up in regards of doing different, like the way it looks, because it's messing with everything. The second mode, and the one I like using for vlogging, is shutter priority. What's cool about shutter priority is it locks in your shutter, so if I'm shooting 30 frames per second, I can just put it at 60, and so I know that the camera is gonna work the aperture and the ISO, if you put it on auto, around the shutter speed, which is a great rule to live by if you want the smoothest looking footage possible. And this is the shutter priority example, probably a little bit more smooth than the auto exposure movie mode, but you know, simply just putting it on auto ISO and then hitting record and you're good to go. All right, now this is shutter priority. I like this because your shutter speed does not change, your aperture will, and also your ISO. And it's just a good setting just because your video will actually look smooth all the way through, because the shutter speed rule is not being compromised. Tip number 4 is set your audio settings to manual. The Canon M50 is super great because it has a mic jack input and a hot shoe mount, so you could put external audios to increase your audio quality. However, you don't want to shoot your audio on auto because it could sound like this. All right, so if you got an external mic, you plugged into the camera and you just left it on auto, this is what you'll get as far as audio sounds, but we highly encourage, make sure you change that to manual. As you can hear from that clip, it just sounded a little distorted and a little loud. However, if you go into your camera settings and change it from audio to manual, then go to record level, drop it all the way down to 0 and go up 1 notch, you are good to go. And now your audio can sound like this. All right, so this is an audio test of the setting on manual and then up 1 notch, and 9 times out of 10 when you're using Canon, this is the way to go. If you're using an external mic, you know, just change your audio setting from auto to manual, up 1 notch, and it's gonna sound way better. So making that simple adjustment in your audio settings will level up your audio. And if you wanted to know what mic we were using, we were actually using the DEITY D3 Shotgun Mic for that audio test. But there are a lot of great mics that you can use based on your budget, and if you haven't downloaded it yet, we actually break down all the various mics for different budgets at our gear guide at thinkmediagearguide.com. Make sure you check out that link in the description below and download that free gear guide so you can choose the best mic for your budget. Tip number 5 is turn on your image stabilization. What's cool about this is it simply, when you turn it on, is it smooths out your footage, and I love shooting things handheld, and most people are gonna shoot things handheld, and so to eliminate like jitter and camera shake, simply turn it on, set it and forget it, and your footage will be a lot more smoother. Tip number 6 is consider investing in lens adapters. What's so cool about the Canon M50 is you can pop on these lens adapters and it can allow you to use Canon's full line of lenses, which could potentially save you money in the long run. For example, Canon's famous Nifty 50 lens, which a lot of people love and have, but you can't put this lens directly on the camera because it's a different lens mount. But with Canon's adapter, you could simply put it onto the adapter and then put the adapter onto the M50. The second adapter we recommend is the Viltrox adapter. We made a video about this adapter. We'll put a link to it in the YouTube card as well as in the description below. But what's so cool about this adapter, simply put, is it turns your M50 into a full frame camera because there's a glass mechanism that kind of expands the field of view. And so it's a kind of cool life hack way to get the most out of your M50 with other Canon lenses. And the 7th tip is to use the custom menu setting to save you time. What's so cool about the Canon M50 is that in menu, you can add the various things you find yourself changing often into one single place. So many of the things that I talked about in this video, like your audio settings, your image stabilization, the high frame rate and stuff like that, you can actually add onto your custom menu settings so you don't have to dig through your menus every time you want to change something simple like format your card. Well, there you have it. I hope you found those tips valuable, and if you did, why don't you go ahead and smash the like button. And just wanted to let you know we have a 4-part series on the M50 from literally beginning to end as far as shooting with the M50, thumbnails with the M50, and then even editing your video. Check out that free series. We'll put a link to it in the YouTube card and in the description below. Question of the day, what camera are you using to create YouTube content? Let us know in the comment section below, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Take it easy.